Welcome to Plymouth Ice Center. It's the Lake Conference Girls Hockey Showcase, and the last game of the day is a great one. It's the Hopkins Royals, ranked number 2 in Class AA against number 3 Wayzata. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox, joined tonight by former Wayzata and University of Minnesota player Whit Kraft. And Whit, this got to be an exciting one. I know this was a great rivalry, even going back to when you played, and got to be an exciting night for all these girls involved.
Oh, absolutely. Both teams are so strong, and they have just a depth of players. You know, I was talking to Becky last week. They actually came up to Cloquet, which is where I am now, but she was talking about they have 4 solid lines. I mean, girls are just developing so strong, and the depth of these teams is unbelievable.
A ton of experience on this Hopkins team, but maybe not quite as much depth, and it might be a little bit of a 2-line versus 3-line situation, and we'll see how that plays out. That's always an interesting dynamic to look for, too.
Oh, absolutely. Certainly on teams, there's stronger players that you want to look out for, and the players that can, stay defensively strong and kind of maintain those top-level players will be definitely key.
Both of these teams have just had fantastic starts. Hopkins comes in 10-0, averaging 6 goals a game. Wayzata 11-0-1, also averaging 6. But I think they all know when we get to conference play, these are the real tests, and that's got to be fun for them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. At this point, the records, they don't really matter. It's all about this game and what's important in every single shift and the periods, and it'll be an exciting game.
We're going to talk about key players to keep an eye on in tonight's contest, starting with Hopkins. Nina Rogers, a player that's been around their team, strong with the puck, good shot, does a lot of things well for this Royals team, and the University of Minnesota's taken notice. Rogers will be playing for the Gophers next season. And for Wayzata, a player that's a big, tall junior, Sophia Shaver, good skater, good hands, good with the puck. Becky Wacker, the Trojans coach, said I've been trying to talk her into shooting the puck more, and she's done a little bit more of that this year and being willing to go ahead and fire some pucks. Certainly a big night for these teams, but at the same time, they know this is kind of the first of many tests. You want to get excited, but you don't want this to be the be-all, end-all night. You've got more to come after it, too.
Oh, definitely, especially, postseason, those sections. But these games prepare you for that. You just have to focus on tonight and doing the little things, and those are the things to work on to get you to those big games.
All right, we'll see who comes out on top here. It's a great matchup, as we said. Hopkins and Wayzata girls hockey up next on 12 Sports.
National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
A Brooklyn Park church received some unwelcome visitors this past weekend.
Volunteers really do have their work cut out for them. They'll be inspecting 23,000 residential lots and city boulevards.
The problem began when the railroad decided to increase the train's speed. In the process, they had to raise a portion of the track over here.
Fire crews got a call around 4 Friday morning from a passerby alerting them to a deck fire.
This time, little lob for Winicky, trying to go up and get it. Touchdown!
Nice crowd on hand at the Plymouth Ice Center. A lot of them watched Minnetonka edge Edina in the game before this. And the top 4 teams in Class AA in the rankings, all from the Lake Conference, and they're all in action in back-to-back games here, with these 2 teams having dynamite starts to the season. And even though we're only, a little past the halfway point, or about the halfway point for these teams, probably the best matchup that they've had in terms of both being this strong in one season that I can remember. So really a great one tonight. And we are underway. Wayzata's in white and Hopkins in blue on the big Olympic rink here at Plymouth. A steal by Corbin Boyd for the Royals, and she'll chase it into the corner. Boyd trying to flip a backhand pass out front, and that one is knocked away, and the Trojans come back the other way with it. Paige Sorensen leading the rush up the left side. Her shot knocked down. Now it takes the return pass here. Sorensen looking to work it behind the net. Out into the circle, Shaver putting it back down. They look to go behind the net now. Natalie Heising Heising drops it over. Shaver. Looked like she had a little room there, but Boyd closed in and took it away.
Hopkins did a good job there keeping Wayzata to the outside. You know, they did a good job possessing the puck, but Hopkins was keeping them quite contained there.
Rogers carries it in deep there for the Royals and lost it. Flip back out to center, and Hopkins will regroup out there as they send it across to Kate Glover. Now puck brought in. The shot attempt there by Kylie Hanley. And swing it back around, looking to come to Glover with it. Hanley, the 8th grader, tied up there in the corner. No whistles yet here, about a minute and a half into the game. Pass trying to get it out front, but knocked down. Trojans able to not quite clear the zone, kept in, and that one pushed into the corner there by Glover, and now Wayzata will break it on out. Pass tipped ahead, and they're in offside as Caitlin Klein couldn't hold up at the blue line. There's a look at Erin O'Neill, a veteran goaltender for the Royals, and high hopes for them this year, and you feel confident when you have somebody that strong in net. Erin obviously having a great season for the Royals. Going to bring this face-off right back out to the center face-off dot. Allie Fry facing off there with Wayzata's Hannah Bangan that comes into the Hopkins zone. Hope Doctor pressured there. Centering pass, and that one is intercepted by Stella Haberman. Second try, Royals get it out, but didn't connect on the pass, and they'll look to get a change completed as Wayzata brings it back, and starting from their own end here with Samantha Meister, and goes down hard.
That was a good forecheck. Took the body, nice angle, no penalty in it.
Going to be an icing call here against Hopkins, and I think we've always seen a little bit of an evolution in terms of what is allowed checking wise. There's a look at Sarah Stelter, a sophomore. They have actually played 3 goalies a little bit this year. Sarah maybe, trying to solidify the job a little bit, 7-0-1, and her numbers sparkling too. Nearly the same goals against and save percentage as her counterpart at the other end, O'Neill. And both coaches were quick to point out that that this will be the best test that they've had so far. Neither one has played. Although Wayzata has played Benilde St. Margaret's, who was ranked #1 at the time, and they tied them 3-3. So that would obviously qualify as a real big test for them. But for the most part, they're saying this is when it really gets going with the Lake season.
Well, and one of the differences when you watch some of these games is you really want to try to look at the whole ice. So don't just picture the person with the puck. Look at how other people's without the puck are covering. And like I said, in that defensive zone, you really want to make sure no one sneaks behind you and let those errors in.
Obviously, it's not the only Olympic rink they're going to play on all year, but Vin Palucci said the Olympic rink makes him a little bit nervous. He feels his team is suited more toward their home over there at Minnetonka Ice Arena, a little bit smaller, and he was trying to tell the players that the area is the same really from dot to dot. It's wider, but you're, as far as positioning, don't get yourself psyched out about it.
Yeah, I remember as a player just on this Plymouth ice rink, or this sheet A, for some reason, you feel like it's a big giant sea out there, but that's when you really can step up and rely on your teammates. You can't win this game by yourself. You have to make good passes and keep your head up and to win these hockey games.
A lot of pucks flip back and forth in the neutral zone here. Nobody really establishing pressure yet so far in the early going. Sarah Iyer dumping it in there, getting a shift for Wayzata. They had an illness. Trojans' Haley Hobday came to the rink and then had to leave because she was throwing up. So going to be without her, and will hurt their depth a little bit here tonight. This will be an icing call. It hopped past the Wayzata player at center, but they ruled that she did not have an opportunity to play it. There's a look at Vin Palucci, 15th year leading this Hopkins girls program, and they've had some good success. He's quite a character, and I asked him, is this one of the better teams you've had yet? And he looked at me and he said, they haven't done anything yet. We haven't gotten to the state tournament yet like some of my teams. He said, maybe down the road it could be, but no, right now we're not getting too high with this 10-0 start. Stelter knocks it over to the corner, and then a centering pass, but nobody home, and it's going to come all the way back out into the Hopkins zone. Retreating to play it there, Grace Bazal. And controlled now by Wayzata's Rebecca Senden, one of their captains. Senden trying to get around the D there, couldn't quite do it, but carries it in deep. Both coaches seem to agree on the fact that Wayzata's probably a deeper team. Here's an opportunity now. Sophie Leininger, who's had a good season for the Trojans. First try, didn't get the shot away. Keeps possession though.
Yep, doing a good job possessing that puck.
And it'll pop back out to center there. Sarah Iyer controlling. Fry back to pick it up here for Hopkins. Tipped out to the neutral zone. A race for the puck, won there by Abby Kroll of Wayzata, but she loses her footing, and the puck will slide right to her goaltender, Stelter. That's where you're glad the puck's not moving a lot faster, and it wasn't too difficult an opportunity there really for Stelter. There's a look at Becky Wacker, Trojans head coach, former Gopher and former teammate and line mate of you. You've known her for quite a while now, and are you excited to see her coaching, not only coaching high school hockey, but at your alma mater too?
Yeah, it's actually kind of bizarre. You know, she grew up in Maine, and we became really good friends at the University of Minnesota, and played on the same line for a couple of years. So it is bizarre that she now lives in Plymouth and coaches the team that I grew up on.
What kind of a player was she with the Gophers?
Oh, she was just a hard worker. She was a smart player, made very, very good passes, but she was a tough player. She grew up playing a lot with the boys, so she learned how to stand on her feet, stand tall on her feet, but she was just a digger. It was really fun to be on the line with her.
You know, and a couple of those attributes were things that a lot of people said about you too as a player, you know, worker and a smart player. And, you know, it was great to see the success. I mean, I think even if there's a shot tip wide, even if you didn't realize at the time, just having a Wayzata player go on to play at that high of a level, I think certainly, you know, helps their program in the long run too, for the younger kids to see that.
I think it's one of the things that you can always control is just how hard you work. Certainly, I was pretty fortunate to be able to walk on to such a good team and play with, you know, I think we had 4 Olympians on our team when I was a freshman. Never would I dream I would be in that position, but.
After the icing call, face off in the Hopkins zone. Senden able to keep that puck in, and it's tipped wide, but Wayzata starting to get a little control here. Meg Ransom played it behind the net and then taken away. Rogers pass hit a skate, second try, got out to Boyd, tips it ahead. And Jillian DeYoung, follow-up try by Rogers. First good chance we've had of the night. And then a little bit of a check thrown. Wayzata might have been fortunate to get no penalty call there on that second centering pass.
That was a great shot off the pass from that captain. You know, one of the things, you don't have a lot of time when you catch a pass and take a nice shot, but she one time to try to get it on the net, just got stopped.
Shaver sending it ahead. Misfire there, though, for Maddie Wolzman, who was a little bit flat-footed there along the left wing wall. Here's really our first, what I'd call good scoring chance. Nina Rogers coming up the slot, and Stelter just got a piece. There was a defenseman cutting through that got in, you know, in her vision a little bit too. That was a scary one if you're Wayzata. So off the face-off here. Big collision in behind the goal. Wayzata player slow to get up. Hopkins player lost her stick, but we go on here. Puck carried now by Abby Kroll. Down she goes. Penalty coming up against the Royals. Be our first penalty of the night, and it will be a trip. And Wayzata will get an opportunity on the power play. See her carrying it up and just got into the skates.
One thing that's really fun to watch these girls, how they've developed, is just the toughness of the game. Even though, you know, the hard hits in the board, it's a lot different than when I played. All these girls are getting grown and stronger and tougher on their feet. It's fun to watch.
Refresh my memory. What year did you graduate from Wayzata?
2004.
Okay. It is funny because it doesn't feel that long ago, but at the same time, you're right. The game has continued to evolve. We got Shorty Sharon going to the box for tripping there for Hopkins. Now here they come on a shorthanded rush. DeYoung trying to get control. Pass out front, knocked down. And Abby Kroll trying to get it out of her skates there and carries it into the Hopkins zone. Kroll teeing it up, drives it over the top of the net. Wayzata trying to get their power play set up, but a little misfire in there. And now Boyd coming shorthanded all alone, fires that one wide of the mark. Long Karam will give Wayzata a chance to come back, but Boyd intercepts at center. Now Senden. Rebecca Senden into the Hopkins zone, fires, but it's off the equipment of Grace Bazal. Puck freed up here by the Trojans, though, as Bangan comes away with it. Now to Shaver. 50 seconds to go on the power play for Wayzata. Senden trying to turn and fire. Knocked away by Rachel St. Clair. And Shaver, the smooth skater, back to pick it up here for the Trojans. Got it ahead to Bangan. Wayzata changing up and a little slow to do so. I don't think they have 5 out there yet. Not sure if they didn't see the, I mean, obviously it is a long way to go to the bench from there, but still. Now Lindsay checked. Boyd gets a piece of that. Only 15 to go on the power play. Not much has happened with the player advantage for Wayzata yet. Here's a shot by Shaver. O'Neill a stick save. And the time to Sharon is just about to end, but here's Klein walking out front. And that one deflects high off the glass. Not sure if that was O'Neill that got a piece of it or a defenseman. Wayzata maintaining possession here, trying to get set up even after the power play is ended. Out to the point it comes, and O'Neill a save on that long shot by Meister. And another one put right on goal, and O'Neill is ready. Sharon will lift this one in and head off on a change. Quick first period here, 7:10 to go. Not a lot of shots on goal in this one so far, and no score on the board. Puck popped in by Ali Wiedela for Wayzata. Relayed around, but not going to be out. Abby Kroll charging in off the bench to be able to play that one. They fight for it here along the wall. Bazal getting control now for Hopkins. Tipped in, but not very deep, and Hopkins was trying to change. Boy, Wayzata had an opportunity if they'd gotten that control of that puck. The Bangan was behind everyone. There were no defensemen out there as they were changing. And tipped up into the mesh, and kind of an interesting first period here, Whit. We haven't seen either team really get a lot of cracks at the goal, but you know, what are your impressions of what you've seen so far?
Yeah, it seems like both teams are just kind of playing a little bit on their, not on their heels, but you know, they're not taking a lot of chances. You don't see 2-3 people forechecking the puck and going after it as hard as they can. They're both seeming to play just a little bit contained, which is a good defensive, but it's good to be aggressive and keep those feet moving.
Senden now will dump it into the corner here for Wayzata. They got in pretty deep on that forecheck, and the pass was tipped up into the netting there at the corner of the rink. Shaver will face off with Rogers here, a couple of the better players in a very talent-laden Lake Conference. Deflection there on the trying to get it out. Wayzata started to do a pretty decent job of bottling Hopkins up. Those breakouts aren't coming very cleanly anymore. Back out to Senden. Falling down, fires, and off the shoulder of O'Neill, and then the rebound slips just wide. Now the Trojans with it again, putting some heat on. Senden trying to tip it out front. That would have been a goal to remember for Senden. She was falling down and hacked it toward the net and got quite a bit on it, and it hit O'Neill up high on the shoulder. Now Senden playing it ahead to Paige Sorensen. She'll tip it in, and they need to get a change. DeYoung carrying it here for the Royals. Boyd trying to get it in, got it about halfway into the zone. Controlled now by Caitlin Klein. Klein, nice move to the outside. Backhander and a stop by O'Neill.
Now you can feel a little bit more energy in the rink. Each team is, going a little bit faster. Here's a good break there.
Sharon, the drop pass and a backhander and sticked aside by Stelter. Might have been one more pass available there, but hard to see her with her back to the player as the puck was a little bit behind. Sometimes it takes one good, either a goal or even a good chance, and then it feels like all of a sudden everybody starts to get into that offensive flow.
Yep. Well, I think it just relaxes you a little bit. You take chances, you work hard, and you put pucks on nets, and do the best you can to get it going.
It's another look at that one. Sendin, it hit a stick in front and made it a tough one. Then the rebound was just wide of the mark as O'Neill fought to stay with that one. Back out to the point. That one knocked down, never made it through off the stick of Lindsay Check. Sent ahead and trying to relay it in was Wiedela, but couldn't quite get it done. Now pops back into the Trojan zone here. Meister with a head of steam leading the rush here for Wayzata. Meister trying to get an angle to get a shot, but pretty well defended there by the Royals. Trying to get it to Rogers. Rogers digging it out of some skates. Leaves it over there for Haberman. Now Nina Rogers will hack it to the corner. She had one pretty decent chance, but we haven't called her name a whole lot yet tonight. The Trojans have started to have more possession time, certainly, of the puck. Picked up here by Glover. Nice passing around, but just a little bit in front of Boyd. And tip back out now. Here come the Trojans. Hannah Bangan.
Oh.
And a little bit of a tie-up. Both players fell, but it brought the Wayzata player into the offensive zone too early there, so offside call.
One of the things that's kind of fun to watch is you watch the players without the puck and see if they can anticipate where the pass is going to be. On a forecheck, you have one of your teammates right on the puck, and then if you can be the second forward to anticipate where that puck is going, you're going to be a step ahead of the game. Good shot on net right there from that 22.
Yeah, Klein got a great attempt, and for a moment, O'Neill wasn't sure where the puck went. Now the race on. This will be icing. Ooh, and then Sendin getting into the body of Rachel St. Clair a little bit there, and does not look like we're going to have a penalty, although that had to be close. You see they both went hard, but Sendin kind of brought the hook up a little bit. She's a lot bigger than St. Clair. Exactly 3 minutes to go in this first period and no score on the board. Wayzata started to get the better of it, although not a ton of chances really either way. St. Clair leading the rush now for Hopkins. Obviously that collision didn't slow her down. Gets it back. St. Clair puts on the brakes, plays it in behind. So they cycle it around now back out to the point. That shot didn't have much on it, partially fanned down by Glover. Iyer sending it around. It's behind Kroll. Kroll will lift one out.
It's a great out by that defenseman. Wayzata defenseman to get the puck out of the zone.
Here's Leininger carrying behind the net. Sophie Leininger looking for an opportunity here. Now sending it out front. They look for the tip. Rebound try goes just wide by Heising. Now Leininger getting control. A backhander goes wide. Now another opportunity at it. Or that was Shaver rather. And then DeYoung takes it here for Hopkins.
Heising did a great job there, keeping her feet moving. She was digging for that puck right in front of the net. You could tell she wanted to put that puck back in the back of the net, get a goal.
Lost it on the way out there. DeYoung, though, couldn't get in position to take a good shot. And now the Trojans clear it here, but no icing. Gretchen Patterson getting tangled up a little bit with her teammate Bazal. And cleared back out of there.
In the corner, they fight for it now. Shaver's pass, tipped all the way back out to Meister.
It was a good job by Shaver to fight off those two Hopkins players to get the puck and make a nice pass to a defenseman.
Boyd picks it up here for the Royals. Looking to start a rush here. We go under a minute to play in the first. Now it's Rogers. Rogers will take a long wrister. It changed directions. They hit a defenseman. Tip back out to center. Patterson playing it there for the Royals. Down deep with it is Leininger, walking out front, a shot, and then the rebound try hacked at. 35 to go in the period here. Wayzata getting more aggressive on the forecheck. Klein knocked down, and no call. There's a shot on, and O'Neill will direct that into the corner. And that one up into the glove of O'Neill, off the stick of Sarah Iyer there. Another look as they couldn't clear, and just a fluttering puck there, not a whole lot on it.
Another good one-timer from the defenseman to get it right off her stick.
Off the face-off here, Wayzata is Wolzman back to the point. Now Senden giving it back to her here, but then taken away by DeYoung. Senden circling back to bring it ahead. Couple seconds to go in the period, and an offside call. Let's see, that'll just be the end of the period, it looks like. So we have played one period of scoreless hockey here, and a great matchup in the Lake Conference. Hopkins nothing, Wayzata nothing. We'll have first period highlights, and then our second period coming up here on 12 Sports.
Osseo, Crystal, and Plymouth. Channel 12 is your local source.
It's intercepted. This one looks like it could go for the touchdown.
Reed puts it away, and Hopkins advances.
Hello and welcome to a new season of Sports Jam.
Channel 12, your local source.
We've played one period of scoreless hockey here in the last game of the Lake Conference Girls Hockey Showcase here tonight. Hopkins and Wayzata at 0-0 as we take a look at some first period highlights from this one. Not a ton of chances in it, but more and more as the period went on, Wayzata controlled the action a little bit. We'll see some of the a long shot there onto the blocker of Aaron O'Neill. And here's really the best chance for Hopkins. Trailing Nina Rogers, that puck looked like it hit a skate and then missed. And the follow-up try, they maybe got away with a penalty there, to be honest. There's a quick shot that O'Neill looked like she just got the tip of her glove on a good chance from Klein. Then a drive here that hit a body in front and deflected in on O'Neill. And the follow-up try wasn't all that, looking at these replays that we saw at the end of the period, there's another one that Wayzata actually put a little more pressure on O'Neill than it felt like watching the game. A couple of these weren't too bad of chances. And Hopkins, meanwhile, really not able to generate all that much offense. You see the shots were 9-2, and really just the one decent scoring chance for the Royals. They took the only penalty of the period, but killed it off fairly easily. We will get set for our second period of hockey here. It's the Lake Conference Showcase and also the conference opener for both of these teams, the Royals and the Trojans. We continue next, right here on 12 Sports.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Channel 12's Community Corner puts the spotlight on your corner of the northwest suburbs.
We want to talk about some things happening around the city of Maple Grove.
New Hope's rinks are officially open.
This is the spot for the Golden Valley Rotary Club.
The City Council worked really hard not to have a tax increase.
You can instantly upgrade your wardrobe with a few simple accessories.
We're in Golden Valley today doing a little recycling.
Rediscover your corner of the northwest suburbs every day on Channel 12's Community Corner.
And welcome back here to Plymouth Ice Center, along with former Wayzata and University of Minnesota hockey player Whitcraft. I'm Jay Wilcox as the Royals and the Trojans. Neither team scored a goal. I think overall, probably, though, Wayzata had to be a little bit happier with the way that first period went than Hopkins was.
Yeah, it seemed like they were in the offensive zone a little bit more.
And as the period went on, too, it seemed like they started to forecheck better, started to bottle the Royals up a lot more.
Yeah, they had a couple more shots on net, I think 9-2, and kind of gets your excitement and confidence up to take a little bit more chances and really drive to the net.
Battle for it in the corner here. Shaver trying to dig it out of there, but Boyd got there for Hopkins. Now St. Clair playing it to Rogers. Little flip back, but Shaver broke that up. Trojans trying to get control, but instead it's Nina Rogers up with it. Rogers looked like the puck was sticking a little bit, maybe a little bit of wet ice from the Zamboni. Now Rogers puts it right out front. Boyd gets it, but couldn't get a shot away. Back to the point. Now Boyd into the slot. And a nice shot there, and a blocker save made by Stelter. And the net has come off there. Pretty good opportunity. Hopkins, we didn't see a lot of this first line do a lot, but you see them getting a good setup here, and then it went off Boyd's skate, but then they get an opportunity after that too. So they're a little bit dangerous there. Certainly a good scoring group with Boyd and Rogers and company. Pass flipped out front, but nobody home. Leininger will take it for Wayzata. Relays it into the Hopkins zone. Glover back to play it. Puts on the brakes, and then that long pass is too long for Shorty Sharon, and it's going to scoot all the way down with fresh ice especially. That puck had plenty on it to get over for icing.
You can see that forechecker, number 22, she was anticipating that defense to maybe wheel around the net, and that's where a second forward needs to come in and realize when she did that cutback to be right there to stop her the other way.
Off the draw, puck comes to the corner here. DeYoung takes a bump there. Iyer fighting her off. Certainly Wayzata a little bit bigger team overall. Hopkins has got some players with some size, but then they have quite a few that are small and speedy, and there's a shot that goes wide. Pass flipped down low. Looking to get a shot away is Klein, and then a backdoor opportunity there, but Bangan couldn't put it away for the Trojans. Now Leininger leaves the pass. Now centering try went up in the air as they try to get it to Bangan. It hit a stick on the way out front. Good work by this Wayzata line. And the official gets caught up in the middle of that one there, and puck popped back into the Trojan zone as both teams changing after a pretty intense shift. Lindsay Check sending it ahead now to Shaver. Shaver, nice move at center. And gets it into the corner. Allie Fry back to play it around there. Pass went off Rogers' skate, but then Boyd sends it ahead. St. Clair, puck got away from her a little bit, and Stelter uses that goal stick to jab it to the corner. And back out to center it comes. Pace of this one has certainly picked up late in the first and then continuing here into the second. After the first 10 minutes or so, not really a lot happened. Here's a look at this opportunity for Wayzata. Watch the pass coming back across here, and it just got on, it was on the backhand for Bangan, and she couldn't quite get the stick adjusted and around quick enough to put it away.
Klein did a great job using her feet to kick that puck back up, and where you learn that is off the ice, you know, stick handling a tennis ball, kicking it in your feet, getting those good stick handling skills down.
Pass ahead, nearly sent St. Clair in alone, but Sendon at a good long reach to get a piece of that. Now relayed back around. Boyd will come up with it here for the Royals, but not for long. Now gets it right back though. To the corner, Sendon. Boyd able to read that one and steal it. Back out to the point, Bazal. Trying to go back to Boyd, but Shaver was there and took it. And the pass was tipped, so no icing as Wayzata sends it in, and they'll change up. Down to the corner. And relayed up high off the glass and out. And it will roll up on edge to be an icing call here, and we'll come back into the Hopkins zone. So Becky Wacker, you know, obviously when you're playing, you're probably not thinking a lot about these things, but did you feel that you had the attributes to become a good hockey coach?
You know, I think in some ways, yes. I think I knew the game really well. I loved being a student of the game and watching it. So to kind of teach athletes to be aware and, like I said, learn the games along with their skills is something to implement. I think I did okay.
Out near the blue line here, and puck kicked free. Trojans kind of trying to come up with it with Lindsay Check. And speaking of Check, Jelaine DeYoung got a pretty good piece of her there. They have certainly let them play here tonight. We've had just the one penalty called, and there have been some other times where you'd say, well, that was close, but now the Trojans come away with it. Here's Klein rolling it forward. And sent on in. I think in general, just on style of play, and as we said, a little size, that probably a game where things are, you know, let go a little bit physically, probably more to Wayzata's advantage, I think, than Hopkins, especially too, they've got a lot of depth on that team. Sendon, smooth skating defenseman, carries it in. Here's her shot. That did not miss by much. She went high stick side, which is always kind of a tough spot for a goaltender.
Good, powerful shot by Sendon.
Sharon will relay it in there. Stopped by Stelter. And Trojans with sent ahead now, an opportunity for Wiedela carrying it in. Fires. And a blocker save there by O'Neill. She's very good at sliding over, covering angles. Just a really sound, fundamental goaltender. Pass coming out front, intercepted there by Rogers. Leaving it over for Glover, but beaten to it. Good hustle there by Izzy Shannon, but then sent ahead. Here comes Boyd. Boyd to the backhand, fires, Stelter the save. And that one might have hit the crossbar after that. Now we've got a penalty coming up against Wayzata. Back out to the point, Bazal a shot. That one hit traffic, never made it there, and now we get our call, and the Trojans will be penalized for the first time on a hook as Hopkins out of nowhere got a 2-on-1 opportunity and nearly got a goal out of it as Boyd comes in.
There's already a lot more energy here in the second period. Each team keeping their feet moving, getting a little more chances. The stick almost looked like it kind of got caught.
Izzy Shannon goes for hooking here for the Trojans. So first power play of the game for Hopkins, and they got a little bit of life from that near miss there, and we'll try and continue with some momentum here on this power play. Rogers. She'll quarterback it from the top. Now DeYoung. Giving it back. Nina Rogers, a blast. Stelter the save. And then the rebound. Hanley couldn't get her stick on it in time. Now Rogers again. She's got a big shot. And that one came just outside the blue line, offside on the Royals. see they want to get it in position for Rogers to get a rip, and he's got a very heavy shot. Hopkins on the year scoring 26% on their power play, 10 out of 38. Now Rogers into the circle, leaves it for Bazal, and Stelter a save on that one. First real good pressure of the game really for Hopkins, and they're putting plenty of heat on. Their power play looks good so far. Across for DeYoung. Obviously there's a lot of room on the Olympic rink for a power play to work. Bazal down low to Boyd. Wayzata keeping pretty good shape though on their bots. Battle for it along the wall here. Boyd comes in to help out. Interchanges with Bazal. Bazal carrying it out, shooting, and that one hits Stelter from the short side there. 40 to go in the power play. Misfire back to the point. Rogers will have to track it down. Nina Rogers leading the rush here for Hopkins. Rogers forced wide. Gets possession back now to DeYoung. 20 to go on the power play. Bazal back to DeYoung. Going weak side with it here now, Boyd. Here's Bazal. You can tell how bad Hopkins wants a goal here. They've left this unit out there the whole time. Ooh, and that one deflected, and a pad saved by Stelter. Good positioning saved her there because that one changed direction. No time to react. Penalty time is now over, but a good power play setup. Here's Rogers, another drive. Stelter the save. DeYoung working her way to the front. Oh, and a big collision. Just ran right into Heising. Now Rogers a shot. That one never made it there. Schaefer out of there trying to get it past Rogers, and now doesn't. A chance for a 2-on-1. Shaver had the puck get away from her out front a little bit too much, though. And they fight it off as Allie Fry trying to get control. Rogers has been out there for a very long time. Now Shaver leaving it back. Wayzata looking to get something going here after killing that one off. Pad save O'Neill. Back out, Meister swings it around. And a big save off the pad by O'Neill. The rebound was laying loose, but nobody in a Wayzata jersey could get there. Now we've got a penalty coming up against Wayzata again. O'Neill makes her way to the bench. And now it's going to be whistled down as we get the interference call just as Hopkins was coming into the Wayzata zone. And Lindsay Check will get the gate. Here's another look at this opportunity here as it deflects. Skate save, and then the puck's laying loose, but just no time to get to it. Well, penalties can certainly change the complexion of a game, and now all of a sudden Hopkins is the team with the momentum, even though they haven't been able to score yet.
Yep, absolutely. Last penalty they did, or last power play, they did a good job getting a lot of shots to the net, shots off the pass.
The bad news for them right now, though, is that group is a little tired out, and their first power play unit's not out there right now because of the fact that they were out so long. Basically the whole power play and a little bit more. Now Patterson carrying it in. Here's a shot, and that one deflects high. Hope Doctor getting a shot. And they can't clear it. A missed chance to clear there for Wayzata. That could have eaten up some valuable seconds there. Royals working the puck out of their corner. Glover relaying it around. Doctor getting control. Whoops, they're a little bunched up. Now Bazal comes away with it. Doctor hops off. Boyd on. They want to get Rogers out there, no doubt, too. They're just possessing the puck and making changes right in the zone. Now DeYoung and Rogers both get out there, so they get their big guns out. Over to Rogers. Swings it across to Boyd. Boyd looking down low for St. Clair. Under 40 to go on the power play. DeYoung gaining control. Now Boyd out top. Return pass. Here's Boyd. Working it down low. Out front for Rogers. Oh, and she hits the pipe. Had half the net to work with and cleanly beat Stelter, but it hit the goalpost. Now it's loose again. DeYoung a shot. And that one goes just wide.
Rogers snuck down on that back door, created a great opportunity for herself.
Back out to Bazal. Couple seconds in the power play. That one deflecting wide off Langen. Rogers gets it back. Rogers, nice pass down low. DeYoung shot, kicked out of there. And now the net looks like it has come off. Oh, Rogers and myself cannot believe this one wasn't a goal. Great pass across the goal mouth and just hits the pipe.
Another great shot off the pass, though. That's a huge thing, not to take time to, some players will catch it and try to either pick a corner, but just to get that goalie off her edge. Get that shot off as fast as possible.
She got it away quick. She got a lot on it. Just a game of inches. I mean, that one was very close to being in the net, and it didn't quite happen for Hopkins. So down the ice it comes. It'll be interesting to see now how that does change. You know, so much power play time for Hopkins, you know, for the rest of this period. What's it going to mean for the period? If you're Wayzata, on the one hand, you're fired up that you killed them off, but you've been pushed back on your heels now.
Yeah, just it'll depend on who wants it more, who's going to not let those missed opportunities let you down, and what team wants to fight for it.
Heising coming out of there with it, but not for long. That one broken up, then she gets it back. Heising overskates it at center. And now ahead, here comes Shaver to the middle with the backhand. That one knocked down though. Senden turns and lofts one toward the goal, and O'Neill juggled a little bit but catches and hangs on and will force a face-off in the Royal zone. Scoreless game here, 5:06 to play in the second. Both teams coming in with a lot of goals this year, but neither one was giving up much either. A little over 1 goal per game, and we're seeing sound defensive play for the most part, and a little bit of luck too, even on one that hit the pipe there. Sharon blocked that shot, but it doesn't come out of the zone. Shaver back to play it. Heising working her way around. Back for Sophia Shaver. Hopkins really bunching up in front of their net. Here's a shot. That one was going wide. O'Neill didn't really catch it, but the whistle blew anyway. And she was more than happy to take a face-off and try and stall the momentum a little bit of Wayzata as they were working the puck around fairly well on the offensive zone. You see O'Neill, she sold it well that she had caught that one, and the official kind of, I think, anticipated a little bit. His whistle sounded. She never really had it. Battle for it. A centering pass there is picked off. Here's Bazal, not able to get around Leininger. Then Bangan taps it ahead. Leininger giving chase. They fight for it along behind the Hopkins net. Boyd coming back to help out, trying to get it to Rogers. Ina Rogers sending it ahead off St. Clair's skate, but the follow-up here is walking in as Bazal, and her shot sails high over the top. Bazal looked like she was going double speed compared to everybody else there, as she read that play well and had a good burst from the blue line on in. Now Rogers walks out front, a shot, Stelter the save, and it bounces around a little bit in the air, and she's able to glove it. All of a sudden, Bazal was flying behind this play here. You see the defenders just caught with no chance. So face-off in Wayzata's zone here. Royals able to win it after they were outplayed in the first. They have certainly had the better of things here in the second, partly with the help of those penalties on the Trojans. Now back out to the point. They work it down low. Oh, and a tip, rebound. Oh, and a save by Stelter. Got her stick on it with a wide open net for Sharon. Now it bounces wide. Save of the night so far, and there have been some good ones already. That one would look like an empty net, and she lunged across with the goal stick and got a piece of it. Unbelievable stop. Shorty Sharon thinks she's got that celebration all ready to go here because it was a great tip, and watch this. Just got the paddle on it.
What a great save.
Big hand for Stelter, the Wayzata goaltender there. Hopkins has to feel like, wow, what do we got to do to get one here? Rogers hit the pipe, and then that one. Meanwhile, if you're Wayzata, you're thinking we got to get this momentum back. We got to start breaking the puck out and get some things happening. Pass coming ahead to Sharon. Jabbed away from her, though. Working back the other way now is Wolzman. Forced back out to the outside. Wolzman giving it down. Now Shaver sends it to the point. That one takes a wild carom there. Now the pass back around to Wolzman, looking out high. That one chopped up in the air. Sharon's lost her stick. Things getting intense out here now.
Another great shot off the pass.
Push back down low, and Kroll looking to break it out here for Wayzata. Royals cover it up pretty well, though. And then near giveaway. Rogers swoops in to take it for the Royals. Nina Rogers back out to the point. Bazal firing, and the defenseman got a piece of that. Now played over for Klein. Klein turning to get it. Sends it past Bazal and in. Wayzata looking to get a quick change. Tip back into the Trojan zone. Get it out to center, and here is Sendon carrying it. Look out, Sendon walking in, fires, and just high and wide with that one. Down to 1:35 to go in a pretty action-packed second period, even though we've had no goals yet. Now Leininger coming up with it for Wayzata. Toward the point, Rogers blocked that shot, though. Rogers wants a breakaway pass. Oh, and they just failed to connect. Once that puck was turned over, Rogers was like, I'm gone now, but they couldn't quite get the angle to hit her.
I think both teams are doing a great job possessing the puck and waiting till to make a good pass. You see individual players doing escape turns, controlling the puck, not panicking and just throwing it away until they have a good open pass.
Royals able to control the draw here. Try to come back the other way, but Wayzata was ready for that, and it was taken by Shaver. Shaver to the middle, had it squirt off her stick. Good hard work, though, down in the corner to free that one up by Meister, but Hopkins able to break it out with Hanley. Under a minute now in the period. Here come the Trojans. Here's a shot, and O'Neill making the glove save on Paige Sorensen's opportunity right there. Well, so far we're still the same score as the first period, 0-0, but the second seems like it's been twice as intense.
Yeah, the energy has picked up a lot. Both teams are just they're moving their feet, they're working hard. They really want to bury that first goal.
Sendon firing, but that was into some bodies. Now St. Clair tips it ahead, a chance for a 3-on-1. St. Clair to Bazal, trying to get it to Boyd, but it was broken up. Now Sorensen relays it around back for Sendon. Sendon to Shaver. Shaver up the middle, 1 against 2, waiting for a little help. And just taking off the puck. Boy, good strength by Bazal there. Plays it to Boyd. Boyd tipping it around the defender, trying to get it herself, but good cover up by Sendon. Under 20 seconds to play in the period. Leininger has Bengen going to the net. Leininger's shot, though, is blocked. Trojans still with some time, not much, but 3 seconds. Leininger putting it up front, and Rogers will take it, and we will reach the end of period number 2. And a scoreless one, but Hopkins put a lot of pucks on net and a couple real near misses for the Royals. After 2 periods, Hopkins nothing, Wayzata nothing. We'll have second period highlights and then what should be a great third period coming up here from the Plymouth Ice Center.
Maple Grove, New Hope, and Brooklyn Center. Channel 12 is your local source.
Intercepted. This one looks like it could go for the touchdown.
Reed looks it away and Hopkins advances.
Hello and welcome to a new season of Sports Champ.
Channel 12, your local source.
Welcome back here to Plymouth Ice Center, home of Wayzata Trojans girls and boys hockey. The Trojans and Hopkins Royals scoreless here in a matchup of the second and third ranked teams in Class AA's rankings. Look at some second period highlights here, starting with an opportunity for Wayzata. Watch the pass coming across and bang, and just couldn't quite get to it. But it was largely a Hopkins period. Boyd coming in, goes to the back end. Nice save by Stelter right there. And then they get a real good opportunity out to the point. Rogers has a hammer there. And the rebound goes wide. These were power play chances, and Rogers bringing it in, and another drive by Bazal. Stelter really had a strong second period, and got a little luck as well too. We'll see that in a moment. That one was a tough one as it deflected on the shot. Wayzata getting another crack at it here as it bounced twice, hit the skate of O'Neill, and then they couldn't get to the rebound. And here's Boyd coming down low with it, and then across. Rogers hits the pipe right there. Had a part of the net open. Stelter didn't quite get that one, but it hit the goalpost, and that's just as good if you're Wayzata. And then a great opportunity here, and a blocker staver with the paddle of the stick right there for Stelter. A huge save. So two that really could have very easily been in for the Royals right there. You see they came back. They only had a couple shots in the first period, so they pretty much dominated the second. And those two penalties, although Wayzata didn't give up any goals, definitely were a huge factor in the period, and it allowed Hopkins to really get momentum and get some chances. So we'll see who will break the ice here in the third. No score between the Royals and the Trojans. Lake Conference girls hockey coming up the third period here on 12 Sports.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life.
No scoring yet. Plenty of action, especially in that second period, and Hopkins dominated the second after Wayzata had pretty much controlled the first, so we'll see now which one gets off to a good start here in period three. One thing's for sure, both goaltenders have really played well. Certainly Erin O'Neill has more experience. She's older, has a bigger reputation, but Stelter was really good, I thought, in that second period too.
Yeah, she came up with some huge saves that Hopkins created good opportunities for.
So here we go in the third. Penalty boxes are empty to begin this period. We've only had 3 penalties in the game, but as I said, those 2 in the second really helped to change the momentum, as Hopkins, even though they didn't score, really moved the puck and got shots, and good quality shots on their power plays. Shaver trying to dig her stick free there. She was bottled up. Now Bazal sending it ahead, but that one misfired, and it will go all the way down the rink. We get an icing call about a half minute into the third. relatively cautious first period, it felt like, but the second was pretty action-packed. Quite a bit of good chances. You see Vin Palucci over there working on the board, diagramming the way he wants some things to go. You know, it's always interesting. I mean, to an extent, hockey's hockey, and you say just go out there and play and do the things you know how to do. But then again, there are, you know, things you want to do, whether it be forecheck-wise or breakout-wise, that, you know, you do need to make adjustments during the game, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of systems in place that people don't realize.
Here's Rogers with a steal, and then good strength to fight off a little bit of a body bump there and got a backhander on net. Klein tipping it around the defender. Trying to send it out front. Backhand by Bang, and ooh, and a skate save by O'Neill. That was kind of a little sneaky one. Klein trying to come out of the corner with it. Here's Ayer taking a shot that goes wide of the mark. Now Shaver. Shaver, nice little move there. Gets it back to the forehand. Then the pass hits someone and goes out of the zone. Ayer will relay it back in for the Trojans here. O'Neill, nice skating to get out and stop that one. Tried to spring Sharon with that pass, and we get a whistle there. And we have a face-off at center ice.
One of the keys to winning this hockey game is going to be the team that plays more on their toes. They don't stop moving their feet. They go to the puck. They take the chances instead of playing back and waiting for something to happen. The team that makes it happen is going to win this game.
Sent ahead now, and Wayzata's Widla trying to get an opportunity, but a nice job defensively there by Laura Clemens. Clemens has it come back to her in the corner. Relaying it around. Meister shovels it back down low. Try to get the pass out front there, blocked by Allie Fry. Now a backhander there. O'Neill with the save. It comes loose again, though. Got Morgan Hogland out there getting a shift for Wayzata as they got their fourth line out. Wiedela sending it out front. DeYoung slips and falls. And Sharon lost it and dumped right back in deep as Wayzata will change up. Allie Fry trying to send it long, but that one didn't have a lot on it. Shaver broke it up. And then that pass knocked down. Senden following up, fires and trying to go up high with it. And O'Neill making a glove catch. That one might have been headed over the crossbar anyway, but see Senden's definitely a player who will step in and help you out offensively too.
Yeah, I've noticed she's had a great couple shots almost on the back of her skate. It just means that she's really strong on her shot.
Controlled by Heising, briefly anyway. Now Heising getting it back. Senden has it, sending it across, and that one broken up. Boyd tipping it ahead. Has Rogers and St. Clair with her. Gets it for Rogers, and it hops off her stick as Senden tried to tie her up. Didn't get the pass out of the zone, and Boyd will be first to it here for the Royals. Drops it back to Bazal, down to St. Clair. St. Clair pushes it out front, trying to get it to Rogers, but couldn't get free in time. And now the Trojans get it to center and will relay it on down and head off on a change. Bazal. Banking it out to center. Sent back toward that Hopkins line. Klein trying to kick it into the zone. Now picked up by Boyd. Good hands there. Leaves it for Sharon. Shorty Sharon waiting for help as they're changing behind her. Does a good job of keeping possession, allowing her forwards to get down into the zone with her. But ultimately a turnover, and Leininger takes the pass up the left wing side here for Wayzata. Her pass was knocked down. Leininger following it up. Sophie Leininger to the middle, and her shot was blocked. Allie Fry, good positioning there to get a piece of that. DeYoung. Working it up the right side here for the Royals. 12:40 to go in the third. A scoreless battle. Now DeYoung dropping it off. Comes loose at center and controlled here by Hanley for Hopkins. Hanley shooting and a blocker save. Royals trying to finish a change, so they had nobody really manning the point there. And sent down into the corner as they'll dump and chase here. Wolzman had trouble with it, and the Royals come away with it there. Stephanie Sween, we haven't seen this line much for the Royals so far. Here's Shaver now, 2-on-2 on the rush. Shaver lost control briefly, got it right back. And tried to get it out front, but it wasn't happening there. Hope Doctor up with it. Shaver, good hands, and knocked that one down on a midair. Now Rebecca Senden. Over to Wolzman. Wolzman flipping it out front. That one never made it toward the net. St. Clair banking it ahead to Rogers. Rogers, though, put the puck into the skate of Izzy Shannon. And now a takeaway by Klein. Klein moving it to the middle. Keeps possession. Klein to the backhand looking for a tip. And it went just wide. A little bit, it might have hit Leininger. Boyd trying to get it around Senden. Senden knocked it away. Rogers a steal for the Royals and then taken in turn by Senden. Rogers goes down hard. Senden, physical player. Rogers is very strong, but so is Senden. Now Rebecca Senden to center, and she'll send it on right on net, in fact, on O'Neill. Bazal whipping it up the middle. Shorty Sharon with it. Struggling to get around Iyer, and Iyer takes it. Iyer had it knocked free. Now DeYoung teeing it up, and that one deflected wide.
It's really important to get those pucks out of your zone right at that blue line. They say games are won and lost right at the blue line because things can turn over, just like Hopkins took a hold of and got a shot on net.
Here's DeYoung, and her pass deflecting wide of the net. Under 10 minutes to go now, and still no score in the game. Fry sending it across to Clemens. Back into that Hopkins zone for DeYoung, but pinching in nicely there was Check. Shaver knocked it loose, but Royals able to get it out. However, they're going to ice it here, it looks like, unless it slows down too much. Nope, going to be an icing call here against Hopkins with 9:26 to play here in period number 3. Becky Wacker looks calm over there, but I'm sure the nerves are going pretty good inside for both coaches. I mean, they, veteran, even more so Vin, but certainly still big games like this get you pretty fired up even when you're behind the bench instead of out there on the ice.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing better than playing a high-ranked team and having a good big rivalry, but the teams that can, again, control those nerves and just focus on the little things is going to win the game.
Doesn't get a lot easier for Wayzata. They get number 2 Hopkins tonight, and then Tuesday against number 1 Minnetonka. Here's Shaver. Little give and go in front, but Boyd steals it. Her pass for St. Clair, though, does not connect. It's going to be another icing against the Royals. And some, icing to relieve pressure is one thing, but you hate to have those like that one, kind of an unforced icing opportunity there. They were hoping to spring somebody through neutral, so you see the idea for the pass, but you don't want to do that too many times, give up faceoffs in your own zone.
Yep, again, it just goes back to the little things. You have to take the extra calm step, look for the easy pass, and do things as a whole team, move forward as a whole team to get there, to get the offensive zone.
Senden down low for Leininger. Bazal working it out for the Royals. Nice pass across. Here's Nina Rogers. Faked the shot, went to the backhand. Keeps possession. Rogers fires off the crossbar. Whoa, what a rocket that was of a wrist shot. Rogers knocks it down. It comes loose in front. Senden has to shovel it away. Rogers has had 2 near misses. That one had a lot on it. You will not see a lot of harder wrist shots in a boys game this year even. Block to the side. And I think that one hit somebody on the Wayzata bench there, so we get our whistle, and that's indeed the case as it hit a glove. And
yeah, it's a good job by Rogers just making those awesome shots going to the net, and it's got to get frustrating after a couple times to be so close, but all you can do is just keep working.
yeah, you wouldn't really say she should do anything different there, I guess, other than just hit, a little bit away from the net, from hitting the net clean.
Yep.
Shaver knocks it free. Shaver going to the net, puts it out front, and that one is tipped over the top of the cage by Sorensen. Shaver leaving it down low, is stolen away. Briefly anyway, now Shaver gets it back. Shaver spins away, and Royals wanting to get a face-off or get the puck out at least here, as this Wayzata line's bottle them up pretty good, but now Shaver's going to head off on a change. He was working hard out there. Iyer back out to the point. Here's a shot. There's a tip, and O'Neill makes the save. Good job of getting some traffic there by Wayzata. Another one sent on, and now it's swept across on the pass. Drive from the point, hammered wide by Kroll. Now it's Wayzata's turn to put on some heat. Fight for it along behind the net. 6:50 to go in regulation. 0-0. Hopkins and Wayzata.
Good battle for the puck.
Out to the blue line, but kept in by Kroll, and that one will bounce to the corner. Wayzata working from in behind. That pass never made it to the front. And they sandwich the Royals player there, and down goes Fry. Trying to bring it alongside the net. Wayzata jamming hard at it, and O'Neill in a sitting position, knocked backward a little bit, but she's seen that before. She stays calm out there. You see Wayzata working hard, and they're just going to keep going to the net. Meg Ransom getting a little push, and then it falls into O'Neill. I think probably to their credit, both teams realizing that a penalty at this point would really be crucial, so they didn't go in there too hard and get a penalty in that spot either way.
Yep, that's very smart to keep your calm when you're right that close.
Shaver coming back to get it here as we go under 6 minutes to play. Jabbed away from her, though, by Rogers. Rogers around the D. Here's Nina Rogers firing, and that one over the top. Trying to pick out that corner as she's been snake bit today, hitting the pipe twice. Sent back across, and a race for it here. Gazal gets there first, leaves it to St. Clair. And into some open ice there. Lindsay Check back to gather for Wayzata, over to Senden. And right back for Check, but it bounces off the end boards and away from her. Royals able to gain possession as they're changing up. They only had 2 players down in the zone. And the Trojans out of there with it with Sorensen. I think they want to change also now. Sorensen will send one in. Ooh, and O'Neill a little bit of trouble with that one as it bounced. Sent ahead and too far. It's going to be icing on the Royals here with 5:01 to play here in the third. Well, we knew both these teams had a lot of good D, but I don't know that I would have expected 0-0 at this point. Look at that fluttering, bouncing shot, and that was a little bit of a tough one.
Yeah, I think that just goes to show the good coaching and the good work, as we were talking about the systems before. It's a lot of practice and just working as a team. Oh,
there's a goal. Wayzata on the board first. Right after the face-off, popped on in by Klein, and the Trojans break the deadlock with just under 5 minutes to go.
Good job by Wayzata being ready right at the drop of the puck.
Klein, the leading point getter on this team. That's her 12th goal, and now 33 points on the season for the Trojans. So the deadlock is no more. Mangan will get the assist as she got a piece of that puck on the faceoff. Now Klein carrying it in behind the net. They'd love to add another here. Here's a drive, and that one will sail wide from Abby Kroll. Now we'll see what changes, if anything, with that one goal up on the board. Obviously, Wayzata now would like to protect the lead, but you don't want to just sit on it either. Here is Shaver coming in just as she was going to pull the trigger. It was poke checked. I suspect we'll see a lot of Boyd and Rogers these last 4 minutes for Hopkins, because that's clearly been the group to give them their best chances. Now Shaver carrying it for Wayzata. Right up the middle. Had it poke checked. Now Boyd trying to give it to Bazal. Bouncing puck, but Rogers gets control. Nina Rogers flipping it ahead. Bazal a shot, and the save made there by Stelter. And then they chop at it out front. Trojans coming up with it, and that breakout pass knocked down by Boyd and sent to the corner. There's where you've got to be real careful with the puck, especially coming up the middle. And now the Trojans get to center and dump it on in with Heising. Still a lot of time, though, for the Royals. Grace Bazal up with it. Rogers tipping it ahead at center, and then it's going to head off on a change. Now Boyd, nice job on the poke check by Shannon. And Wayzata coming away with it here. A pass into the official skates. Senden trying to work free. And now working through neutral, Meg Ransom getting a shot that'll bounce wide. 2:45 to go and counting. Wayzata now leading at 1-0 after we stayed scoreless till about the 5-minute mark remaining in the third. Battle for it here, and it finally comes free. And sent in on net. O'Neill will make the save and hang on with 2:25 to play. And another look at that first goal. It comes after the faceoff. Bangin left it there, and Klein follows up. Kind of tough for a goaltender there to know who to focus on when puck comes out of that situation like that, and Klein able to get away a good hard shot. Trojans control it. They'll send it down deep. Heising back out to the point, and then right back down for Shaver as they look to cycle it here. Off the back of the goal. Shaver able to win that puck back, putting it out front. Now to the point it comes, and it sails wide. Shaver there to intercept, puts it out front. O'Neill knocks it away. Big time collision there, and Wayzata gets the puck back. Centering pass broken up, but Wayzata doing a heck of a job forechecking right now. Even if they don't get another goal, they're protecting this lead. There's a shot, that one knocked down.
Yep, Hopkins has to get a little bit more drive and intensity to get that puck and time out of the zone.
O'Neill's going to cover it up again, and boy, Wayzata right now, just what you like to see. I mean, you can't give up a goal if the puck's in the other team's zone. They're just putting pressure on. They're not necessarily looking for a lot of shots. They're keeping the puck down low, which is good, and also getting some face-offs in the offensive zone. We're going to see a timeout taken right now here by Hopkins.
Yeah, sometimes it's easy for a team after they score, they might get confident or maybe kind of sit back a little bit, think they won it, but Wayzata's doing a good job keeping the pressure on, keeping possession of the puck. Hopkins has to do a little bit better job of getting that drive to want to get the puck out of their zone.
I like a couple things I've seen from Wayzata too, and where, when in doubt, say they're at the blue line, when in doubt, they've been keeping the puck down low to the corners. I mean, the last thing you want is to have a shot blocked out high or a cross-ice pass picked off and give them a chance at the other end. You play it safe when you've got this lead. Yes, you look to score, but you also look to make sure you're making the safe play, keeping the puck, keeping them bottled up down in the corners.
Yep, absolutely. Keeping possession of the puck and you know, those battles on the boards, those are really important. Which team wants it more to come out with the puck. And Wayzata so far has just done a better job at keeping that puck in the Hopkins zone.
Hopefully the fans enjoying this one here tonight, and good opportunity to see a lot of hockey today as Buffalo Eden Prairie played. Eden Prairie, of course, a Lake member, Buffalo not, but since there's only 5 teams, they had one other team to come in and fill out a 3-game slate of back-to-back-to-back varsity contests, and the JV teams from all the teams played as well here, and you know, hopefully it'll be something they continue with this Lake Showcase, and a good venue for it. Obviously, it's a good size rink in terms of seating capacity and everything, and obviously a new building and a nice building. So great opportunity for hockey fans around the area to come over here to Plymouth and see this one. Wayzata now getting their group out there. Rogers in the circle awaiting this draw here. Hopkins would love to win this and then get a breakout immediately and at least give themselves some time to get a chance or two at the other end.
We'll
go ahead.
Watching Hopkins goalie probably pretty soon to be pulled.
As the puck comes up ice, and here comes Boyd. Boyd carrying it in, a shot goes wide. O'Neill is off. Hopkins' net is empty. Shaver comes up with it. Hopkins, with a lot of these players out, had that great power play in the second period, even though they didn't obviously get anything on the board. 6-on-5 here with their empty net. Minute 5 now to go in the third. St. Clair tapping it down low to Rogers. Couldn't get past the defender. Now Boyd. Boyd back out to Bazal at the point. Looking down low with it for St. Clair. And it comes loose and diving out. A little bit of a gamble there to knock it away with Stelter. But they can't get it out of the zone. DeYoung with it. 45 seconds to go. That pass intercepted. Wayzata wants a clear. Even if you have to ice it here, you'll take it.
The battle on the boards.
Trojans come away with it and flip back out to center. Half minute to go. Bazal chasing it down. Wayzata gambling by trying to change here. Now St. Clair puts it out front. Rebound try. And Stelter just got a piece of that. It was Rogers again with a near miss. St. Clair to Bazal. That one is blocked. 10 seconds. Another drive, and that one deflecting just wide. 5 seconds. Put out front alongside the net. Rogers trying to bring it out front. Down she goes, and the game is over. Whoa, what a thriller this one was.
What a great finish. Hopkins did not give up there. They created some good opportunities, but Wayzata was able to keep the score and keep the win.
Yeah, it's only mid-December, but look how excited Wayzata is. You know this is a big win for them as they pull out this 1-0 victory, and they mob their young goaltender, Sarah Stelter. Holy cow, was she good tonight. And the Trojans able to secure the victory here. And, you know, you look for a long time at a 0-0 game, and you might have thought not that much was happening, but there really was, and the third period was dynamite also, Whit.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of good opportunities, a lot of good chances. Both teams were working hard. It was a solid game and really fun to watch. A lot of energy between these great hockey teams.
We are going to be back to wrap things up here in just a moment from Plymouth Ice Center. Wayzata stays unbeaten on the season. They hand Hopkins its first defeat. 1-0 Trojans. Our final score. We'll have our postgame up next here on 12 Sports.
National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
Welcome back here to Plymouth Ice Center. What a thriller tonight. Everything is expected in a good hockey game here between Hopkins and Wayzata, and the Trojans pull it out 1-0. And getting the shutout in net, Sarah Stelter, and boy, you faced some tough ones here tonight. They had some good shots. Even at the end, they were really coming hard, but how much fun was it to be out there and make so many good saves?
It was really fun. It was a great test for our team and for me, too.
I know your team came in undefeated, but I think, you know, you knew once you get to Lake Conference play that you're really going to be seeing a lot of good teams, and, you know, that started here tonight. And a lot of pressure, I guess, in a game like this, but at the same time, you come out and get a win. You know, how much does that mean for your team to secure a win like this?
It means a lot. It really brings in confidence for our team.
Nina Rogers, obviously a very good hockey player for them. She had some great shots, and you got a piece of a few. The couple hit the pipe too, and but you know, did you feel like your D played pretty well overall to limit them to you know, as few shots as they did have?
Yes, they did. I thought they played really well.
3 games in a row here, the Lake Conference Showcase. Do you think it was a kind of a good day, a good successful day overall for the conference to be able to bring the teams here and showcase them?
Yes, I thought it was really good.
How about Minnetonka coming up now? It doesn't get a whole lot easier in the next game for you guys, right?
No, from here on out, it's going to get harder. Yeah.
All right, great job here tonight, Sarah, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
And Caitlin Klein finally breaking that deadlock. For a while, we were wondering if anybody was going to get one. Tell me about how that play developed as, you know, right off the face-off like that.
Like most of my goals, they're all pretty much to my line mates. My center, Hannah Bangan, really tied up the defense and really made it pretty easy for me and just gave me a clear path. And Sophie tied up the 2 defense, so I just had me and the goalie, and it went in.
It was kind of an interesting flow to the game. I mean, I thought you guys controlled the first period. They pretty much controlled the second, partly because of the penalties. And heading into the third, what were you guys thinking about, you know, what it was going to take?
We just said that we needed to come out like the first period and just play our best. We knew that we could beat this team, and we obviously did. So.
Tremendous start to the season for your team. Probably, maybe the best start Wayzata's ever had, I would say. You know, did you think that this was going to be the case when the season started, that you guys would be this strong?
Yeah, we have a lot of younger girls, like really good younger girls that came up. They're really talented in their own ways, and it was like just the team chemistry was here, and we just all bonded as a team, and we definitely brought some new material to the year. So.
All the conference teams are just tremendous this season, and you know, you'll be tested again when you play Minnetonka, obviously, but do you like the fact that, you know, you get tested every night in this conference now once you get into these league games?
Yeah, it definitely makes the games interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how the conference will play out, not just with us playing the teams, but just like with everybody else, to see the records of each team. But I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Caitlin, great job here tonight, and have fun the rest of the season. Should be a fun ride the rest of the way for the Trojans.
Thank you.
All right, Caitlin Klein, Sarah Stelter, just a couple of the players that did a great job tonight here for Wayzata. They pull out the win over Hopkins, so the Trojans stay undefeated here with this 1-0 victory. First loss of the season, as we said, for Hopkins. For Whitcraft and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Thanks for watching Channel 12 Sports coverage of girls high school hockey here in the Lake Conference from Plymouth Ice Center.